Access to Democracy is made possible by donations from the following organizations. Thomson Reuters, a global company with expertise and insight to unravel complex situations in the areas of law, tax, compliance, government, and media. Their worldwide network of journalists and editors keep customers up to speed on relevant global events. Crutchfield Dermatology, a full-service treatment center and medi-spa in Eagan. Their goal is to help you look good and feel great with beautiful skin. With service built around courtesy, dignity, and respect, Mayo-trained Dr. Charles Crutchfield personally treats each patient and is acknowledged as one of the nation's best physicians. Truestone Financial, with locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, has proudly served its members since 1939. Truestone engages, educates, and supports its members to ensure they have the tools to empower their financial well-being. Truestone Financial, your neighborhood credit union. Learn more at truestone.org. Edina Eye Physicians and Surgeons, a division of Twin Cities Eye Consultants, has proudly served the Twin Cities for more than 55 years now in 7 convenient locations. Using the most advanced technology combined with human touch, Edina Eye offers comprehensive services and dedicated specialists committed to excellence, with innovative procedures and expertise for the most advanced eye care.
Welcome. Access to Democracy returns, and we are happy to be back with you, but especially happy to be back in studio here at Thomson Reuters. And to help us celebrate, we have actually one of the top officials of Thomson Reuters with us today, and I'd like to welcome as a first-time guest, Paul Fischer. Paul, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. Very nice to be
Welcome to
here.
your own building.
Thank you.
And, now, Paul is the president of legal professionals at Thomson Reuters. Tell us what that means.
Well, this is now the largest part of Thomson Reuters is the legal business, and this was the former West Publishing, and through many iterations after Thomson acquired West Publishing, we now call the legal part of the business that serves attorneys and judges and government agencies, corporate legal counsel. We call that the legal professional part of the business, and I'm the president of that group.
And interestingly enough, you are not an attorney.
Correct.
You are a financial wizard, and let's do a little bit of your background.
Yeah.
You were with American Bank, and you were with Arthur Andersen. You got your Bachelor of Science from the University of South Dakota. You're
Correct.
a CPA, and what have I missed?
No, that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. I started my career with Arthur Andersen in public accounting, and I spent about 5 years there, about 5 years at American Bank, which was formerly known as Midway Bank, the St. Paul area. And I've been here ever since. So I've been here, it'll be 25 years next month.
Well, you found a home.
I did,
You found a
absolutely.
home. Now, being the president of legal professionals, obviously you have a lot of lawyers working under you. So what exactly is it that your aspect of the business does?
So our aspect of the business, if you go back over 100 years ago, John B. West started putting together case law materials for attorneys. And Alan, I think you were part of that business at one point.
I certainly was.
So that, go ahead.
No, my office on Long Island, I had replete a library with all the books from here, had all the reports, had all the, obviously, McKinney's New York,
Sure.
and et cetera. And yeah, I was one of the first 12 attorneys on all of Long Island to put in Westlaw. And it was just slightly different then than it is today.
So this business began as a print publishing business, and worked many decades in that regard, and eventually expanded globally into certain other parts of the world. And then about 3 decades ago, that information, we had the opportunity to make it available via an online platform. And at the time, that was a great way to load information and then be able to access it at scale, if you will. And that was a dedicated terminal in a law firm where you could go in and search the law, put together your arguments, develop your case, and you had all of this information available at your fingertips on the computer. About the time I started 25 years ago, we made the transition to the internet and really democratizing the law, if you will, and opening it up for people to use around the globe. And that's the business that we have today. And we publish the law, and then we make it accessible for searching and locating and building an argument via Westlaw.
I can tell you that when I was practicing, when I would be doing an appeal, which I did a lot of, my table would be open and filled with books as I was preparing a brief or an argument. And even certain things, if I definitely wanted to hit on the appeal, I would take a couple of books into the argument with me.
Okay.
Today, an attorney sits with a computer and has the whole world at their fingertips, and all the law, far more than any one office can.
It's interesting, though, as you say that, we still have a substantial print publishing business here on our campus in Eagan yet today. And globally, it's over $500 million of revenue that still comes in from print, because many attorneys or judges or others, working in the law still prefer to have the books open. And so what we're here to do is provide it in the way our customers want it, whether that's in the print format, whether that's online. But we'll work with them to say, how would you like it? And we can give it to you either way. Many times both.
I know the federal government also buys a lot of our material.
They do.
And of course, when I was here at West and then Thomson Reuters, we were publishing USCA and US Code, and which was the area that I was involved in. And I guess we still publish US Code.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. I want to go back to your question about attorneys, because we do have about 1,500 attorneys working across the business today. And our attorney editors still play an incredibly important role. And you'd think, is that diminished as we move from print to online? But in many regards, it's become more important, because these attorney editors will look at cases as they're published and pull out insights and head notes, right? So they're summarizing the case, and they're really pulling out insights, though, from the case. And as we apply modern day technology, machine learning, to that case law to determine, what are the important aspects of the law, we're actually working off of those head notes. So we're working off of almost like a teacher's version of an old textbook, if you will, where we're able to take that markup that's provided by these attorney editors. It applies to the print publications that we still do, but it also forms the foundation and almost, you could say, the competitive advantage to the online materials that we produce.
And of course, Westlaw is the most famous online provider of legal information in the world.
It is. It is
and
indeed.
It's last I heard, it was in 41 countries in I don't know how many languages, but quite a few. And not only just for the attorneys here, but attorneys in all these countries around the world who go to Westlaw. And Westlaw itself has had several increments of advancement during the years.
And we're working on one now for next year. So we're always trying to continually enhance the insights that we can pull from the law and make it both available and informative.
And if you're an attorney sitting in your office, you can get things like every month you'll get Findlaw, and it'll point out certain cases or certain aspects of the law that are of interest to you in your office. There are other publications where attorneys can, get into their specialty and get updated. And of course, with the computer, you can hit one particular area and you can get all the cases that are relevant.
Right.
Not with the books.
Yep. And you've touched on, you mentioned Findlaw, so let me just go a little deeper on that aspect. Is over the years we've branched out from producing the law and or providing it and then making it accessible via search capabilities and so forth online, we've gone into other parts of what attorneys do on a daily basis. So something like Findlaw helps attorneys connect with consumers. So if you go to findlaw.com today, we've got millions of pages of free content available for consumers to learn about the law. And they can take it or leave it. They can take what they've learned and go off on their day, or if they want to connect with an attorney to get help, then we will help make that connection. So we work for all size law firms, but for the smaller law firms, one of their biggest challenges is how to find new business and how to continually be connected with consumers or small businesses that have legal needs. And Findlaw serves that aspect.
Especially in this market today, it becomes more important to be able to generate income. And now, if an attorney has a problem, they can pick up the phone and they can call, and what happens when they...
Well, they're typically calling with one of two types of issues or questions. One of them might be, I need to understand my bill better, or I need a certain password change, just a customer service type inquiry. And of course, we help with those. The other thing, though, I think where you're going is we have reference attorneys on staff.
That's my point.
We have licensed attorneys that will answer legal questions and provide, tremendous assistance in solving their problem, but using our materials to do so. And we're trying to do through that is help them serve or solve a point-in-time need, but also teach them and work with them to help them better understand the capabilities of the products. But I think it's an incredible lifeline for our customers to know that, hey, if I've got an issue where I can't find it, I can't access it in Westlaw, I may not be familiar with a part that I don't use very, very often, that I can pick up the phone and get a human being on the line who's licensed and who's learned and studied in the law to help them with their legal need.
Or you have somebody who just walked into your waiting room and tells your receptionist or your administrative assistant, I have a such and such problem, and she calls into you and the attorney says, well, tell them to have a seat, I'll be with them in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Picks up the phone, calls you, and becomes semi-expert in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's a very big factor.
It really is. And we're, of course, investing to become more digital, just like we are in our personal lives. People want, and our customers want more and more to be able to interact, whether they're buying, renewing, working on that customer issue. Just like if you're working with Amazon or anything else, you want to do things online. And of course, that's important, and we're investing to do that. But there's still nothing like being able to pick up the phone and getting an expert that can help you with the legal issue.
No question. So you have these 1,500 attorneys, many of whom are here in the headquarters in St. Paul, but also all around the world, literally all around the world. And suddenly we are hit with a pandemic. How does that affect the business? How does that affect these attorneys? Where are we? And not only that, but all the other employees here. In Egan at the headquarters.
Like the rest of the world, we literally went home overnight. And we had invested in our staff and in our teams with laptops that they could work from home prior to the pandemic, but no one was expecting that we would be home for as long as we have been. So I remember when I went home, and I called my wife and I said, hey, I'm coming home today, or I'm working from home tomorrow. I don't remember which one it was, but I said I might be home for a couple of weeks. And who would have thought it would be well over a year?
Little did we know.
Right? And because we had invested in the technology infrastructure to allow employees to work from home prior, it went remarkably well. And I underline remarkably, because the way we were able to seamlessly move and work from home was above all of our expectations. And we had invested in a technology called Teams that enabled, it was like Zoom, it's a competitor with Zoom, and so we were able to do meetings immediately that we just flowed from home. We had laptops, or we got laptops to people that needed them. And because of the infrastructure that we've got sitting behind Westlaw today, and the environment that we have, we were able to do that quite seamlessly. And our customers did well also. There was a period of time in the second quarter of last year was a slow business quarter for us. And we were more so going to customers and saying, how can we help you?
Well, that was the time when everybody was reeling with the impact of the pandemic and literally didn't know what to do.
Right.
So you were able to reach out and say, how can we help you?
How can we help you? And our customers had a tough second quarter where they were immediately saying, we don't know when business is going to come back. We may have to lay off some staff in law firms and so forth.
The courts are closed.
The courts were closed, but it was remarkable how we got to July of 2020 and how quickly demand came back. And so the downturn was extreme, but it was quick. And we saw business coming back in the third quarter. Now everybody's working from home at this point still. We're working from home. Our customers are working from home.
Yeah, we should emphasize that this building, which houses normally 6,000 workers here in Egan, as you walk through the halls, is virtually a ghost town.
Yeah.
There are some people who are coming in voluntarily, and I know you've been here a lot, but masked up, everybody fully masked, but still the bulk of the office is still working from home.
Still working from home. We had our print facility operated the entire time. They missed 2 shifts the entire time during COVID. And they were actually due to civil unrest, not related to the pandemic. And there was about 400 employees that were working on a daily basis throughout the entire pandemic. And then the number of essential employees in the rest of the business was very, very low. So we went from 5,000-ish employees in the building to 500 overnight. And so it very much seems like a weekend every day.
But it worked, and it's working.
It worked.
And here we are in October, and the staff is going to start to come back January 3rd, if I'm correct.
That's right. We actually came back for a period of time in July into mid-August, and with the Delta variant, we again said work from home if you want, so we're open, but most people continue to work from home. And it will forever change how work is done around the world.
Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. And as we look around the world and see what's happened, and of course it's caused chaos in terms of retail establishments, things like that, and who are crying out now for workers. And certainly the pandemic has to factor into that.
It does.
And you're also going to go to mandatory vaccinations here at Thomson Reuters. And how is that going to work?
Well, we just rolled it out this week, Alan. So we're just working through it as we speak. But we are a federal contractor. And so under Biden's executive order, we fell clearly in the remit of that says if you're going to do business with the government, you need to require vaccines. And there's no testing exception for that. It's vaccines are required, including for your contractors. So we just rolled that out to all employees this week. I think the message to all employees went Wednesday, managers on Tuesday. And so we're actively working through that as we speak. But I don't think it's a huge surprise because of everything we see around us, and other companies and government agencies are doing the same thing. But nevertheless, it's a message I certainly haven't sent in my lifetime.
And my own personal opinion is anybody with half a brain has been vaccinated already. And we see these anti-vaxxers and people like that, but I can't understand how you would endanger your family, your loved ones, people you associate with. It's beyond my comprehension.
From our standpoint, Alan, what we're saying is people are like on many topics, but this one included, they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. And what we're saying very clearly is we respect your individual decision. That is your decision to make. If you don't want the vaccine, that is your decision, your call to make. We will respect that, but to work here, this is what's going to be required.
Now, one of the biggest things in the law is the storage of material. It's just, there are so many decisions coming down from so many courts and so many areas of the law, and I should talk to the fact that we also do a lot in accounting also here at Thomson Reuters. When I say we, I still have that
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Thomson Reuters hat on. How do you provide to store all that material?
Yeah. Yeah, we have had, we call it public cloud or private cloud. So we have had the Westlaw information, the type of information that we hold for accounting firms in our private cloud, in our private data center for many, many years. So security to that has always been paramount to us. And we know that every day we're effectively betting the business on our need to protect that. So it's at the highest part of our priority list is data security. Now that is moving more and more to the cloud. And what we're seeing is the incredible investment that's going into the public cloud is even more secure than we can provide in our data centers or private cloud, or that law firms can do on their own. You know, if you go back just 3 years ago even, the desire of law firms to move to the public cloud was quite low, especially the largest firms. And there have been a number of data privacy issues where they've realized that these big public cloud storage companies can provide better security than they can individually. So those walls are coming down as the public cloud infrastructure gets better and better. And so that's a move we're making as well, that by the end of 2023, we will be primarily in the public cloud in terms of our data storage.
Way beyond my pay grade, but I accept that. Now, another thing is there are offices all over the world. Thomson Reuters office, other people that you have to confer with. One of the things I know that you do is using the public-private partnership with the city of Eagan in this facility, which enables you to have meetings, conferences, and everything else with people all over the world. How has that worked out?
Well, I think first of all, it's a responsibility. And we take giving back to the community extremely seriously. We are citizens in Dakota County, in the city of Eagan, now here, right, around the world we have other locations. But we take that public-private partnership seriously and as a responsibility. We feel fortunate to be able to, I feel very fortunate to have the job that I do, quite frankly. And I take that responsibility very seriously, to employees to make good decisions, to our customers to deliver on our promises, but also in the community we live in here and the communities we interact with around the world. That is a responsibility. And so giving back in different ways is just part of the way we operate and the fabric of the company.
Now, how big is the accounting aspect of it? Because I know that Thomson Reuters has gone into a lot of help for accountants, and I am assuming that that's online also.
It is
available to accounting firms.
It is. It's a very sizable business. It's about half to 2/3 the size of the legal business, but it's very substantial. And we provide products and services to these accounting firms of all sizes, just like law firms. From the very, the sole practitioner to the largest firms in the world, the big 4 accounting firms in the world. So that is another big part of our business.
I think the importance of the rule of law has never been greater than it is now. And I think we've seen that politically and otherwise in the last year or so. But certainly has to be a consideration. How did it affect the bottom line last year? The pandemic and shutting the office, et cetera.
Two thoughts back there. I think the first one is the rule of law has never been more important in the challenges in various ways we've seen around the world and in our own country. And so when employees, myself included, are looking for purpose in our work, as we all do, I think we bring that in spades in terms of the role we play in our cities, counties, states, countries. Upholding the rule of law and providing that information is so very critical and never been more so. In terms of our year last year, we got out of the gates like a typical year. Second quarter was tough. And we saw that through a revenue dip, a sales dip. We reported that information publicly. We weren't unique in that regard. What pleasantly surprised us is how quickly it came back starting
in the
July.
second half.
Yes, in the second
really
half.
came back, and that's what I was pointing
Yeah,
to.
and what we found was that our products were necessary in the office. They became even more necessary at home. You know, one of our products is Practical Law, in where we provide checklists and sample documents for specific areas of the law. And one of our employees described that as, you needed that wise mentor down the hall when there was nobody down the hall. And you really needed that when you were working from home. So we found that with our content-enabled technology products, that they were in more demand from home than they were in the office. And so we rebounded in the second half of the year and had a good year overall.
And you also print forms, so that if I'm an attorney and suddenly I need a form for an appeal or a form for certiorari to the U.S. Supreme Court, I can go online.
That's right.
Through Westlaw and through the facilities that you have, and I can print those forms out and be guided as to how to do it and how to do it correctly.
That's right.
Which is a big, big thing.
It is.
Especially for a young lawyer who hasn't experience in this area and suddenly is thrust into something that's new.
That's right. With these products, what we're trying to do is make attorneys in their day-to-day work more efficient by being able to do things quickly, and also more effective and give them confidence in what they're doing. And so if we can provide some how-to guidance along the way as they're completing that form or that work product, we make them better in their job and give them more confidence in their work product.
So much more that I wanted to cover. What we're going to have to do is have you back 6 months from now.
Okay.
We've been talking with Paul Fischer, the president of legal professionals here at Thomson Reuters. It's been a pleasure, a first-time guest, and do come back and update us when we get a little bit back more to normal as a society.
I'd
Paul,
love to do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Alan.
Okay.